All right. Well, Anthony, first question I've been asking all the Hall of Famers for this year. What was your reaction when you found out the good news?
Well, my first reactions, I was a little bit surprised, actually. Then once everything kind of settled in, I was definitely honored to even be considered and then nominated for, such a great honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it was definitely a surprise, but, I'm happy to be, selected for sure.
So let's take you back to the pre-AU days in Arlington, Virginia. And how
Yeah.
does a running back all the way close to the coast there end up in Ashland, Ohio?
It's actually kind of a funny story. So like you mentioned, I'm from Arlington, Virginia, about 10, 15 minutes away from DC. We're not, Washington Lee, which is now Washington Liberty, is not necessarily considered a big football school, or even that area is not really considered a big football area. So during recruiting, me and my coach kind of sat down and went through a list. We actually just put up a list of different schools. And I always said I wanted to go to I know obviously Ohio is like real big on football. So I said, oh, let me look into the area of Ohio. So we reached out to a couple of schools, Ashland being one of them, and, got invited up for a visit. And I came up, got treated like family. It was a great experience. And from there, I already knew that, I wanted to go to Ashland. Actually made a decision, at least to my family, before we even left the official visit. So it was definitely, just kind of something like that. Just to be honest, just reaching out to the team and coming up there and visiting and loving the school.
So you arrive 2011, your first year, get a little bit of playing time. 2012, you become a starter. Team goes undefeated in the regular season. It goes to the playoffs. So what was that like for you being still a young player and being part of that kind of success?
It was nice, to be honest. Especially like you mentioned that sophomore year we went undefeated. I think what contributed to that was just the fact of, we took the off season seriously. We were able to, bond and mesh as a team, and just see the atmosphere around the school, everyone pulling for you, even in the community. It's like you kind of, as a team, be a little bit local celebrities. It's like, oh yeah, every week, you're winning games and stuff like that. So it was a big, it was nice to see for sure, and definitely love being a part of it.
And you set a lot of records along the way toward the end of your career. 2013, you end up with 311 yards in one game. And I don't care what level you're playing, 311 yards, a lot of yards. You end up the career leader in rushing yards and total touchdowns and all-purpose yards. So what was that like for you to have such an impact on the program while you were here?
It was nice. Like I mentioned, it's nice to see like your hard work, translate to the field. But obviously I couldn't do it by myself. I also had teammates that helped with that. Always got to credit the offensive line, they took care of me for sure. So, it was nice for me to break those records, but also I have to give, credit to the offensive line and even the coaches for even believing in me to call my number for certain plays and stuff like that. But it was nice to see everything kind of come into place and see your hard work translate into the field for sure.
And I only got to see you. I was the SID the first year, your last year. So I only got to see you one for 1 year. But everything I heard and everything I saw, obviously, in that year was reliability, availability, being a workhorse. So as a running back, you get a lot of work, but in your case, it seemed like you were able to just kind of take off with it and be the bell cow.
Yeah, and I think also just when different teammates. We had Jordan McCune,
Yep.
we had Vance Settlemeyer. They definitely helped with that as far as being the durable and a workhorse. Anytime that we always said thunder and lightning, references. So anytime one of us got tired, you can rely on the other person and things of that nature. So I think, with that, I think we all helped each other when it came to that type of, role for the team.
And it says a lot about you as a football player, too, because we've been playing football here for over 100 years. Running game with Dr. Fred Martinelli back in the day, 60s, 70s, 80s. They didn't throw the ball much.
Right.
So in a throwing era that you played in to be the all-time leading rusher, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, most definitely. I was, as you know, like everything's going to spread offenses and hurry up offense. You don't really see too many, I formations anymore like that. So, like you mentioned, in this day and age, we're not running the ball as much. So, just I think that type of feat may be a little bit tougher to accomplish. But I'm not saying every record is meant to be broken. But to your point, it is kind of rare to see a team running the ball as much in this day and age, the way the game is going.
And you were able to play on teams that were in that early stage of playing at Jack Miller Stadium, Martinelli Field. So you never
Right.
had to experience having to share the football field with the high school. So that had to be really cool to kind of be in that early stage and winning in those early days on Broad Street.
Yeah, most definitely. I heard a couple of stories from the guys, like they had to transport back and forth to certain fields to practice and everything like that. So I can't. I was a little bit spoiled, so I think that helped with my decision as well. We came to Ashland on a visit, and the facilities were great. Like you said, the new stadium and everything like that. I'm a little jealous about the indoor facility now that I see that wasn't there. So we still had to, fight those cold days and snow and everything like that. But that was definitely nice to play in that type of stadium. And even like games that you go to have away games, their stadiums don't compare to Ashland's. So it was obviously like playing at home, but it was even better to play in that type of atmosphere and that type of environment.
Well, make sure you check out the indoor facility when you come back on homecoming weekend. We'll make sure it's open so you can see it.
Gotcha.
So what's life been like for Anthony Taylor since graduation?
To be honest, I kind of took a step away from football a little bit. I'm just been working lately. To be honest, I have a nephew that's playing. He's in sixth grade now. I kind of find myself kind of getting the itch to play, coach a little bit, like up from the stands. I'm like kind of coaching them up. We have conversations, after the games and stuff like that. So I think, to be honest, I might start to dive into coaching a little bit. I haven't played football in like 10 years now, but so I think that might be the next steps moving forward for me.
So if there's someone in the off chance that you're in Virginia and someone goes, "Hey, I know you played at Ashland University. You went to Ashland University. I might be considering it." What would your sales pitch be?
So I would say for sure, like I mentioned before, Ashland will treat you like family. I think me being so far away from home, that was what helped me stay in Ashland. Obviously I couldn't go home every other week like some people, but just the fact that I had teammates that invited me to their house. They treat you like family. They want to make you sure that you grow as a person. So I feel like I've grown a lot from once I first stepped onto Ashland's campus to when I graduated. Obviously, so I think that would be my sales pitch. You're gonna go somewhere that actually cares about you. You're not just gonna be a number. You're going to have somebody that's really pulling for you for sure.
And then finally, I ask all the Hall of Famers this question: when Al King calls you up to the podium on game day morning, what do you think it's going to be like giving that speech?
I'm gonna be a little nervous, to be honest, but I'm gonna have to do a few practice runs in the hotel. But like I said, it's gonna be an honor. I just want to thank everyone that helped me get to this position, and just want to give thanks to them. But I think I'll be able to pull it through. But it's definitely going to be an honor to give that speech.